Chapter 2. The traveler is full of untapped potential that he only now begins to realize. Sudden changes will complicate his life at first, but eventually contribute to his greater well-being. The boy will soon become a man. I spend the rest of English class trying to fade into the background, to disappear. The teacher doesn't call on me, so I guess it works. Classes go by with predictability. Go by with boring predictability. The teacher mispronounces my name, gives me a stack of bulky braille books with some excuse as to why the rest aren't in yet, and drones on about how we're going to work hard and learn lots this year. It seems like the monotony will never end when finally the moment I've been waiting for all day arrives, the start of 5th period. Sometimes my blindness comes in handy. For instance, phys ed is basic requirement this year, but the school doesn't want me to get hurt. So they are exempting me, which means I get to take whatever I want to fill the gap in my schedule. I've decided on advanced chemistry, a course usually only offered by juniors and seniors. Since other sophomores won't be in this class, I might be left alone for once. Basic chemistry was my favorite class last year, and happens to be the most important subject of becoming a medical researcher. I've only got 3 years left of high school. Then it's only a world-class pre-medical program, and I'm going to need to have a super high GPA in order to get the full scholarship that I'll need to make it happen. Arriving at the chem lab, I stride across the room and take a seat in the back corner where I will be less conspicuous. I hoist myself onto the raised stool and trail my hands over the work table. It's a little bit slimy, like it's been coated with wax. Hand-carved etchings pepper the surface. In the lower work corner, somebody's scratched in I heart, but EJ, I heart, B, EJ, B, E, Brady Evans. Why do girls like him so much? He must really be good looking, because he's a complete jerk. My new classmates come in and begin to fill up the other workstations. I hope no one sits next to me. I prefer to work alone. When the bell rings, I'm sitting by myself, just the way I like it. The teacher comes in and places the first and second volumes of my special ordered advanced chemistry textbook in front of me, then returns to the front of the room. "Good afternoon, students," he says in a nasally, intellectual voice. "I'm Dr. Brown, so called because I have received my doctorate in chemistry." He pauses to let his academic superiority sink in. "I'm Dr. Brown." "I'm Dr. Brown," a student whispers, mocking the teacher's unusual speaking voice. So what is he doing here? Shouldn't he go teach in a college or something? Someone else asks with a giggle. Dr. Brown either doesn't hear or chooses to ignore the commentary. He continues his introduction. "I'm expecting the best from each and every one of you, which is why I will not be grading on a curve. If merited, I will fail the entire class." Everyone groans and grumbles at this news. Someone even walks out of the room. Dr. Brown pauses again before continuing. Yeesh, how long is this going to take? "If merited, I will also grant everyone in this class an A. Put your best foot forward and be mindful of the discipline, and let's enter the exciting world of advanced chemistry together." Chemistry is studying in which the door creaks open, stopping Dr. Brown mid-speech. Soft footsteps approach, brushing the scent of almond oil and a mild sensation of electricity with them. Dr. Brown clears his throat, dropping his voice to a more threatening, less nasally octave. "I will not tolerate tardiness. It is disrespectful of my time as well as to the remaining punctuality and the rest of the class." I detect the slightest bit of fear in his voice. Maybe he was picked on as a kid. And is worried about losing his slightly wrapped control this early in the school year. The footballs continue. The stool beside me pulls out, and someone sits down, making almost no sound with the movement. "I apologize, Dr. Brown." Her voice floats past me, swaying rhythmically, creating the sweetest song imaginable. "I am new here and had trouble finding the classroom." "Oh, you're Dr. Shergill's daughter, aren't you?" Dr. Brown pauses and wraps his fingers on the edge of his desk. "I suppose I can make an exception, since this is the first day of the term. Mind you, I will never make an exception like this again." "Thank you, sir. I promise you won't need to." She settles into her seat and takes a few things from her bag as Dr. Brown carries on with his lecture about the importance of chemistry. Since this is an elective course, he doesn't need to work hard to convince us. Still, I suspect a few more students may drop out after hearing Dr. Brown's strict grading policy. The bell rings. Before I can get up and make my way to sixth period, world history, a soft hand on my shoulder stops me. I turn around to face the source of the musical voice and the alluring fragrance. Hello, I'm Simran Kaur Shergill, she says, her sweet tone rolling over me in a calming wave. Call me Simi, if you like. Hi, Simi. She seems nice enough, and I like the intoxicating... Oh. I like the exotic cadence of her voice. I'm Alex. Hello, Alex. Would you mind helping me? I'm getting a bit lost, and I don't want to be late again to the next period. Sure, I say, feeling heroic. How can I help you? I'm not sure how to get to my next class. World History with Mrs. Wrzinski. She stumbles over the name. Oh, you can come with me. World History is my next class, too. I rise to my feet, throw my backpack over my shoulder, and put my cane out before me. Simi's level breathing halts. I didn't realize you were... I can ask somebody else to help me. It's okay. I know my way around just as good as anybody else. Come on, I say, walking a bit quicker than usual to prove my directional competence to her. Okay, thank you. She walks in line with me, smoothly, her feet pattering against the floor in light, quiet steps. The temperature rises around us. My heart beats faster. I hope Simi doesn't notice. She seems almost scared to talk to me now. Besides, anyway, is she worried about hurting my feelings or something? People never know how to talk to me about my blindness. It makes them really uncomfortable. I guess this means it's up to me to engage Simi in small talk. So, where did you live before? I ask. My family's just come from New Delhi. She answers. The air around her lightens as she relaxes into our conversation. New Delhi? It's the capital city of India. Oh. I grope about for a topic change. Something to keep the conversation going. Hey, I think you're in my first period English class, too. I realize, recalling the smell of cherry candy, and the unknown boy yelling at Simi to keep quiet. No, algebra's my first period, Simi says with a hint of apology in her voice. Oh, okay. I feel doubly stupid. Now I'm smelling and hearing things that don't exist. Luckily, we've arrived at our classroom, so I don't get the chance to say anything that's going to make me sound even more in idiotic. Mrs. Wrzinski's 6th-hour world history, I announce, making a grand gesture with my arm. Thank you, Simi says, stopping outside of the classroom. Oh, she murmurs after a beat. I can't see anything around. I can't see any seats left. So I guess we'll talk in chemistry tomorrow. Yep? Yes. Okay. Bye. Bye, I reply, settling into the first desk that I can find near the door. The smell of Simi's almond skin fades as she takes a seat in the front corner of the room. This is good, actually. Now I've got the rest of the day to think about what I can talk about with Simi tomorrow in class. I've got a chance to make a friend, and I don't want to mess this up by being an idiot. 6th hour passes quickly, but painfully. Even though today's the first day back, Mrs. Wrzinski wastes no time in jumping into full-on lecture mode. I end up with 4 pages of notes typed up on my special braille keyboard. The clacking of my keys seems to put her on edge. All the teachers are bothered the first few weeks of semester, but eventually they get used to it. They don't have a choice. It's clear to me that Mrs. Wrzinski is the kind of teacher who loves torturing kids by throwing out an endless assortment of dates, names, and foreign words. Each time she mentions one of them in her lecture, she takes a brief pause to give everyone time to write the information down. I know from experience that this info is undoubtedly surfaced on a test, which I totally don't appreciate. See, I'm good at learning general ideas, but struggle with precise details. Sometimes I'll study hard and memorize everything in my notes only to realize I've typed a date wrong or made a spelling error. Now I've made a habit of typing every name and date 3 times to avoid mistakes. Since I can't exactly go back and check, each day after school I print my notes on the braille printer that the school district assigned me and assigned for my family's home use. But by that time it's almost impossible to realize if a mistake has been made. Besides, would I read all of my notes right away? It's true, I wouldn't make so many mistakes if I still had my teacher's aid. Way back when I started kindergarten, the school assigned me now my personal helper. She sat with me and made sure that I got everything down correctly. She took the reports I typed out in braille and converted them into standard alphabet. so that my teachers could so the teachers could grade them. The aid was helpful, but cemented my position as a complete and total outcast. How could I whisper to friends or take part in any social activity with school with school appointed guardian watching my every move? I elected to dump my aid when I started high school, but the joke was on me, since I'm still an outcast. Now Dad converts my reports and manages my studies from home. He lost his job and nothing else to keep. He lost his job and has nothing else to keep him busy anyway. Maybe with time, my classmates will forget I ever had an aide and start including me in their social stuff. The bell rings. Finally. The collective relief of my classmates is almost palpable. A fog, almost palpable, like a fog of boredom has lifted, and the warmth of the fun-loving sun has returned. I slam my computer shut and race out of the room. I'm the first one into the hallway, and one of the first to exit the school building. As I push open the thick glass doors, I'm greeted by the pleasant aroma of wet grass and asphalt. My lungs expand more than usual, sucking in the fresh, clean air. I love the sky after a rainy day or a rainstorm. The millions of humid micro droplets and a fine armor around me, making me relaxed and happy. I walk over to the edge of the sidewalk, close to the general area where Dad waits for me every day after school. Hey, Alex, how was it today? He says, in a much better mood than usual. Good, I reply, getting into the car. Suddenly I realize I've been here before. Had this conversation, felt this crisp density of air, taken in the scent of the wet ground. Only the first time everything happened in the school hallway, and the role of my dad was played by Brady Evans. Before I can stop myself, I reach out and touch Dad's face, just to make sure that he's really there this time. If it's Brady again, I'm dead. Luckily, it is Dad. He places his hand on top of mine as I hold his face. His eyes burn holes into my skin. Just because I can't see them, it doesn't mean I can't feel their laser intensity. Alex, what's wrong? Nothing. I was just somewhere else for a second, I say, purposely keeping my answer vague as I buckle myself in. Dad's attention stays focused on me for a few more seconds. His tense gaze sends prickles across my skin before he jerks the van into drive. We don't talk the entire way to Mom's shop. I attempt to make sense of all the strange stuff that has been happening to me lately, but don't have enough time to reach any kind of conclusion. Mom's shop is nearby, basically walking distance, and we're there within a couple of minutes. Well, here we are, Dad says, as he angles the van into an empty parking space. I snap back to reality, grab my cane, and hop out of the car. Dad stops me. Hey, you're acting a bit strange today. Pull it together for your mother. I'd hate for her to worry. He slaps me on the shoulder as we resume walking, as we resume our walk toward the shop. It doesn't escape my notice that his Boston accent is flaring up again. But what's triggering it? Okay, I snap back. Even though I am acting a bit strange today, I can't help it. Anyone who acts strange, given this, anyone would act strange given the circumstances. And how does Dad know? Was he reading my mind? The idea is ridiculous. I must have been making faces while I was thinking. Sometimes I do that. My parents can just look at me and know how I'm feeling. I don't know what my face does to give this away, so I can't stop. I think it's time for me to start trying to figure it out. Though, Dad's hand tenses on my shoulder. He stops walking. What? I ask. Oh. Oh, ha. It's, nothing. It seems like we've a new neighbor. Then he starts walking normally again. That'll be good for business. Should bring more people to this area. I'll bet your mother is over the moon. I'm glad someone has moved in. The shop next to Mom's has been vacant for over a year. Can't wait to find out who's moved in next door. What, Dad? What's there? I detect the scent of burning. I detect the scent of burning, but I don't think this place is a restaurant. And it's too small to be a fire station. Oh, I'm not sure exactly. Dad trails off. Some kind of consulting firm, I think. Doesn't look like anything. Doesn't look like anyone's there today. Susan! He pushes open the door to Sweet Blossoms, Mom's florist shop. The bell attached to the door jingles merrily, reminding me of Christmas. Hi, Greg. Mom shouts. I'm in the back room. Okay, I'm gonna send Alex back. I'm running a bit late. I need to hurry if I'm going to make the interview on time. His accent has vanished, returning to his voice. Returning his voice to normal. Mom clumps to the main room with her rubber garden boots. She hugs us both and gives Dad a kiss. Good luck today. Just know you're going to get this one. I'm glad you're so much confidence in me, he mumbles. The door swings closed behind him. The bells jingle again, and moments later, the engine of the family van roars to life, pulsing as Dad speeds away to his destination. How was your first day? Mom asks as she washes her hands, chanting faintly under her breath to ensure her lathers for exactly 30 seconds. It was fine. I'm excited about advanced chem. Oh, good. I'm glad. I hear her dry her hands on a cloth towel before closing the spigot with a squeak a squeak of rusted metal. How was business today? I ask, trying to sound optimistic. Things aren't going well at Sweet Blossoms lately. We're barely making ends meet. Fantastic! Today, Mr. McDivans came in and bought an autumnal an aut ooh, an autumnal bouquet for Mrs. McDivans. I think she'll be pleasantly surprised. That's nice, I say, deciding it's best not to ask any follow-up questions. I can tell she's only made one sale today, which isn't enough to pay the shop's utility bills. Utility bills, let alone the family's grocery tab. Did Dad tell you? A new tenant moved into the old the old pharmacy next door. Did Dad tell you? A new tenant moved into the old pharmacy next door. Really? I say, not letting on that I already know. If I feign ignorance, Mom will divulge all the details. What is it? It's a psychic shop. Her voice crackles with excitement, like a fire that's just beginning to burn. The all-seeing Mystique. Isn't that cute? Mystique. Mystique. I laugh. That is funny. Never had a psychic in town before. What's she like? Oh, she's very friendly. Why don't you go over and say hi? I'm sure she'd like to meet you. Okay, I think I will. I'm incredibly intrigued because first off, it's a psychic shop. How weird is that? And second, its presence made Dad super uncomfortable. Also very cool. I waste no time heading next door to check out the scene. My cane clacks against the wall of the building. Until it strikes glass with a soft tap. As I step cautiously into the new shop, a recording of soft instrumental music greets me. I make out chimes and a string instrument that I don't and a string instrument I don't recognize, but for some reason reminds me of snake charmers. The sweet smell of incense fills my nostrils, which explains the burning I detected earlier. Hello? I call I call out into quiet room. That doesn't make any sense. Hello? I call out into quiet room. Nobody answers. I walk in deeper, sweeping my cane out in front of me in a metronome fashion. This place is new to me, so I need to be especially careful while moving around. Thump. Despite my precautions, I stub my toe on something hard, big, and made of wood. Just my luck to stub the same toe twice in one day. I reach down to press my fingers my fingers into my throbbing foot. To alleviate some of the pain. Something teeters before rolling off of the chest and across the floor. The sound it makes indicates a curved path. Suddenly the object goes silent. Somebody has stopped it. Hello? I call again. Hello? Hello? A deep, feminine voice responds, placing more emphasis on the first syllable than the second. I'm sorry I knocked that thing over. I didn't I didn't mean to. I hope she's not angry. Probably not a good idea to get on a psychic's bad side. That wasn't just a thing. It's a crystal ball, she says, as she walks over and sends my blood pulsing through my veins. I sense her looking at me for a moment before she places the ball back on top of the chest. Can it see the future? I ask, allowing my curiosity to outweigh my uneasiness. No. After a pause, lasting several beats, she continues, But I see the future. Sometimes when I look into it. Oh, okay. I tighten my hand around my cane and turn to leave. It may not be the most polite thing to do, but all of this hocus pocus stuff is freaking me out more than I would have guessed. The lady speaks again, stopping me cold. Don't run away, Alex. Cosmetoris. She must have spoken to Mom earlier. That's how she knows my name. I'm not running away, I say. I'm just going back over to Sweet Blossoms. Don't run away, she repeats. This time she speaks louder and with more energy. Don't run away from your abilities. They are gifts. What? I ask in confusion. What abilities is she talking about? You already know. Watch. Listen. Be open to your gifts. I turn to face Miss Teak, but the room is quiet. Either she's watching me or she's gone, returned to wherever she was before I got there. Is it safe to leave? I trail my fingers across the wooden box I crammed into earlier. A thick coat of dust. A thick coat of dust clings to the tips as I pull away. If this shop was opened, why is it already so dirty? I wipe my hands over my shirt to get the gritty substance off. Shivers rock my whole body. Something about this place is wrong, and I'm not sticking around to figure out what. Tapping my cane along the floor, I find the exit without knocking into anything else. Outside, I jog back toward Sweet Blossoms, eager to be in a safe, familiar environment again. Thump! I run face forward into whoever's standing between me and Mom's shop. Having steadied myself upon impact, I'm still on 2 feet. My victim wasn't so lucky. I'm sorry, I say. I didn't mean to. I offer my hand to help the person up. A soft, inviting hand enters my own. It smells like almonds. Alex? It's that same musical voice that's been in my head ever since chem class. Simmy? Simmy! I'm so sorry. Wow, I am not smooth. I run full force into this new girl. A girl I think I'm starting to like. Earlier today, I thought maybe, just maybe, I could convince her to like me too. That's probably not going to happen now. It's okay. She moves her hands across my arms, and her clothes cleaning off to the sounds of rustling cloth. The smell of coconut overpowers my nose as she flips her hair and combs her fingers through the tresses. I hear her nails rake her scalp, and then several bits of gravel drop to the ground. Plink, plunk, plop. Really, I'm very sorry, I say again. I don't normally run around like that, but I had to get out of that weird shop. I'm searching, groping for any way to make the collision less embarrassing. I realize too late that this makes me sound pathetic and cowardly. Where, Miss Teaks? Simmy asks, raising her voice in surprise. Yeah. Don't go in there, it's freaky. I laugh, trying to make light of the whole ordeal. Simmy laughs too, but it seems forced. The bell at Mom's shop tinkles and somebody exits. Somebody exits with a bouquet of bouquet of lilies of the valley. The scent is warm and inviting. There must be some baby's breath in the bouquet too. I know all of Mom's flowers, both by touch and by smell. Simi? An older version. Simi? An older version of the voice asks, sweet and musical. I'm right here. Shall we go see Mystique now? Yes, Mummy. I'm coming. Turning to me, bringing her voice closer, she adds, see you tomorrow at school. Simi and her mother walk away. The odor of incense and the sound of mysterious string music grow strong, and then cut off altogether as the door to all see. Cheeks closes tight. I gulp. Why do I always say the wrong things around girls?